cheap berets if you want berets. Cute, but not original, is it? I mean, you can't really complain. €8.40. Walking past various sex shops. I had no idea that was happening. Welcome to another one of my videos. You might remember last time I was in Château Rouge. For this time I'm slightly up the hill from Château Rouge in Montmartre. I'm about to climb these steps and basically experience one of the most popular tourist destinations in all of France. Slightly north of the centre, but Montmartre is basically famous for its bohemian lifestyle that sort of stems back to the 19th century. So it's been going a long time.
Traveling the uncharted course of living the bohemian life of artist and poet.
And because of that, changes have happened. Gentrification's happened, has become the place to go. Prices have gone up, all the buildings are very well preserved. And look at this, I've got to climb these steps, have a look. As we ascend these beautiful steps of Montmartre, it is impossible not to reflect on the duality of this beautiful city. Paris is a city of contrast, something that has become painfully clear the more you explore. Just earlier we were walking through Château Rouge, a neighbourhood teetering on the edge of chaos, where the vibrancy of its markets and the streets feels weighed down by the neglect and disorder. But here at the foot of Montmartre we step into a different Paris, a Paris that celebrates art, beauty and a sense of timelessness. These steps carry the weight of history. They've seen pilgrims seeking redemption, tourists snapping selfies, and perhaps most famously, artists climbing towards inspiration. Unlike Château Rouge, which feels like a city struggling to hold on to itself, Montmartre offers a kind of quiet reflection, a place where creative minds could escape the chaos and craft something meaningful. Montmartre's story is one of reinvention. It was once a rural village on the outskirts of Paris, dotted with windmills and vineyards, but in the late 19th century it became a haven for the outcasts and dreamers of society. Artists like Picasso, Van Gogh and Toulouse-Lautrec came here not just for the cheap rents, but for the bohemian spirit that Château Rouge seems to have traded for lawless disorder. Unlike the frenetic, disjointed atmosphere of Château Rouge, Montmartre has a soul that feels deliberate. It's not about scrambling to survive, but about finding beauty in the struggle. The artists who once wandered these streets and climbed these very steps weren't just surviving, they were creating, elevating the mundane into the extraordinary. It's strange to think that some of the world's most famous masterpieces may have started as fleeting ideas while climbing these very steps. And now as we near the summit, Montmartre reveals itself not as a refuge, but as a reward. The climb might not be easy for some, but it strips away the noise and the nonsense, leaving you with a moment to reflect. After walking through the chaos of Château Rouge, Montmartre feels like Paris at its best, a celebration of the enduring power of art, culture, and imagination. These steps, worn smooth by millions of visitors, lead not just to the Basilique of Sacré-Cœur, but to the legacy of countless artists, musicians, and dreamers. It's slightly hot, it's about 30 degrees Celsius. Now I'm slightly out of breath, so perfect opportunity to pause for a moment and just admire the view that's literally right in front of us. Have a look at this. Now this is why you climb Montmartre. Look at it. Paris sprawled out like a painter's canvas, the sunlight hitting the rooftops just right, making the whole city look like it's glowing. If you squint, you might catch a glimpse of Notre Dame, still standing strong, despite the terrorist attack inflicted upon it. There's something magical about seeing Paris from up here. Down there, it's a maze of streets, chaotic, noisy, full of life. But from here, it all looks so calm, so perfectly planned. Those zinc rooftops shimmer, the chimneys stack up like little soldiers, and the building seems to flow into one another in this beautiful, endless sprawl. Quite the amazing view, isn't it? Standing at the top of this beautiful hill, it's basically known as the Mount of Martyrs, is probably the best way to describe it. And why is it called the Mount of Martyrs? Well, this is where the first real priest of Paris was beheaded. Saint Vincent, as he is now known as, was beheaded up here in the 3rd century. So he was one of the early adopters of Christianity, and for that he was beheaded. What I'm going to do is go into this beautiful cathedral. You'll notice it's a bit of a line, but as soon as I get in there, hopefully you can film, and let's have a look at it. Well, here it is, the Basilica of Sacré-Cœur.
This is Montmartre's crown jewel. Standing at the top of this beautiful historic hill, it gleams in the sunlight as if it's been plucked straight from the heavens. But let's not let its calm, serene beauty fool us. This basilica was born from a time of turmoil. Built in the aftermath of France's defeat in the Franco-Prussian War and the bloody Paris Commune, it was meant to serve as a symbol of hope and penance, a unifying force for the fractured nation. I only wish they thought of these things today, because this place is beautiful. But it's the details that are really fascinating. Look at the statues. Joan of Arc on one side, St. Louis on the other side. They're not just decorative, they're statements, symbols of resilience and faith, guarding the entrance to one of Paris's most historic and most visited landmarks. The bright white facade made from travertine stone has a unique property. It actually self-cleans in the rain. How does it do this? Well, the travertine actually secretes calcite, which keeps the building's exterior brilliant white rain after rain, which is why the basilica looks pristine even after more than a century. This is architectural forward thinking in my mind. This basilica truly is breathtaking. As soon as you step inside, the noise of the city seems to fall away, replaced by a deep and peaceful silence. The first thing that grabs you is the sheer scale of it all. What truly held my attention is the mosaic above the altar, Christ in majesty. It's one of the largest mosaics in all of the world. Christ is depicted with his heart ablaze and his arms open wide, surrounded by saints and angels, all rendered in shimmering golden tiles. It's impossible not to feel some sense of awe standing beneath it. The design of the basilica is a stunning mix of Romanesque and Byzantine styles, which give it a softer, more intimate feel compared to the Gothic cathedrals like Notre Dame. The rounded arches, the domes, and the muted light. It's like stepping into another world in my mind. Even the stone itself feels alive. Over here, the side chapels offer a more private, more meditative space. Each one is dedicated to a different saint or a moment in Catholic history. Visitors come here to light candles, to whisper prayers, to leave behind hopes and fears that linger in the air. It's humbling to think how many lives pass through here seeking comfort, inspiration, or maybe just to have that conversation with God himself. Above us is the basilica's grand organ, built by the Aristide Caval Coll. With over 7,000 pipes, it's a masterpiece of sound and craftsmanship. Imagine as the music fills this space during a service. If you get to attend, it feels like the heavens themselves are singing, because this is a masterful organ. Now, everywhere we look, there's a sense of intentionality. Nothing here is accidental. The arches that seem to lift your gaze upward, the quiet whispers of visitors soaking in their reverence. It's all designed to remind you of something larger than yourself. Whether you're a person of faith or not, it's impossible to deny the artistry and the thought behind this sacred space. Now, for those up for a bit of a climb, you can actually ascend into the dome, around 300 steps to be precise. From the top, you can get to one of the most spectacular views of Paris. It's the kind of view that makes you fall in love with the city all over again. Although, a word of advice, it is a fairly steep climb, and do, in my opinion, come at sunset or sunrise, when the light transforms the city into a painter's dream, such as Van Gogh. And here, at the heart of the basilica, is the altar. It's simple yet profound. This is where Mass is celebrated daily, and even when the pews are empty, you can feel the weight of the prayers that have just been offered here over the decades. It's a place that transcends time, a true sanctuary to Catholics and worshippers. I have to say, each step I found myself pausing in this monumental place. Despite the bustle, footsteps seem like quiet echoes. The faint flicker of candlelight and the golden shimmer of the breathtaking mosaic, it's a space that for me invited reflection. It's though Sacré-Cœur whispers a reminder that even in the chaos of the world outside, places like this stand as havens of peace and beauty. And this is despite the bustle of all the tourists that you will of course happen to dodge between. As we step back into the light, with Paris spread out before us once again, the journey through Sacré-Cœur may end here, but for me, the impression lingers until the next time I visit. It's a symbol of resilience, faith, and the enduring beauty of this incredibly beautiful but turbulent city.
Well, a truly magnificent basilica. I can't remember the last time I was in there, and it was a very long time ago. I'm really glad to have been back there. Wonderful, wonderful place. Queue is basically sort of to check bags and make sure you're all appropriately dressed. And look, there's a lot of security around here. See the military man just patrolling with his machine gun. So there is tension in Paris. There are problems in Paris, but thankfully we are reasonably protected. Anyway, we're going to proceed back down the hill. We're going to head in the direction of the Moulin Rouge, but obviously we're going to take in the streets in between here and there. And there's a lot of police here, aren't there? Just when there's recent attacks. When there's recent attacks, it is good to see the police and the military around. But we're going to walk down here to see what we can see. So let's head. Look at this wonderful view. And look at this very French view. Look at this car. You wonder why there are so many locks against the fences. These entrepreneurial chaps selling locks. You're gonna buy a lock. These guys are selling the locks. I think one of the biggest industries when it comes to locks seems to be these fences. I mean, these fences have to be changed all the time because effectively once they're full up, as you can see, look at these ones back here, completely overrun with locks.
It's good business.
Everyone declaring their love, which is cute, but not original, is it? Call me cynical, but not very original.
We live in a cynical world.
But you know, when in Paris, when anywhere these days, there's locks scattered across every fence, every bridge, all over the place. A lot of people in love.
This view has inspired artists for generations. Picasso, Monet, Van Gogh, they all looked out over this city and saw something that lit the fire inside them. And I get it. Standing here is like you can see the story of Paris, the highs, the lows, the chaos, and the beauty, all in one sweeping panorama.
Paris is one of those cities that is remarkably beautiful, and it continues to be remarkably beautiful despite the problems that it faces. Macron still in power.
Thank you. Thank you.
Despite the majority of the people of this country not voting for him. Also very similar to the majority of the people who have not voted for Herr Starmer in the United Kingdom. Macron is in power here. The Parisians are very different from the people who live outside Paris. The people from outside Paris predominantly want to retain their heritage, their culture, whereas Paris is a melting pot, it's a huge melting pot. What we're going to do is we're going to head down there, just enjoy the vibrant atmosphere on a Wednesday lunchtime on a beautiful sunny day with the Basilica right behind us. But what lies in front of us, let's go see.
Well, this is different.
As we walk down the hill, check out this old carousel. This is an old one, still in use, probably similar to many of the carousels that you see in Paris. There was one I was looking at the other day in, where was it? It was in Luxembourg Gardens. It was the oldest one. It was €4 ago, this one. Let me guess what proximity where it is. Probably about €5. But it is very old. We say Victorian in France, but it's certainly Victorian carousel. And as we head down, we have postcards, 3 for 10. That's ridiculous. They're plates, not postcards. I want to buy some of these. 3 for €10. Apron. Everyone needs an apron. 1 for €12, and of course, everyone needs a beret. You get your €6 beret that will fall apart within a day.
Did you know the beret is an example of a piece of women's fashion adapted from male military uniforms?
I'm gonna head down here, trying to walk through many people's photos. You can't wait forever. That's all I'd say. We'll try and get a photo taken. This is where crossing without getting run over. They don't wait for you in this town. Now have a look down here. It's a nice little street, cobble street. We have the Studio Cafe. pizza. That's the prices of pizzas here. €11 for standard pizza, which is tomato and cheese. Oh look, the beret is cheaper here, so if you head just a few more meters, you can get one for €4. So look at that, suddenly gets cheaper. Just 50 meters is all the difference when things get cheaper. And here, it's a theme as we go down the hill. We've now got berets for €3.
Beret Appreciation Day.
That's amazing. So remember, if you're going up the hill, the closer you get to the Basilica, the more expensive the berets get. And then here, €7, €4. Okay. So shop well with your cheap berets if you want berets. But this is the place to get berets. €4 for these berets. These bags every lady seems to ever buy when they come to Paris. Bags for life. You get your Mona Lisa t-shirts over here. Check this out, Mona Lisa t-shirts. We've queued for an hour in the Louvre to see the Mona Lisa. Get yourself a t-shirt. And of course, being an Olympic year, Paris 2024 t-shirts. What was that opening ceremony about? Oh yeah, that's the point. I made a video in Dublin where we were talking about the opening and closing ceremonies. And as soon as I spliced the footage into my video, the video got taken down by the YouTube censors. You can't even splice seconds of footage because I think they're that embarrassed about the opening ceremony that they don't want people dwelling on it and seeing it. You could forgive them for the fact they did it in the opening ceremony, but when they then basically implied end of days with a devil-like satanic figure in the closing ceremony, you know there's something very amiss in those that run the world.
We have to understand, our governments have been seized.
Very busy. Here's some English accents there. Obviously it's a very touristy area. The man carving his wares over here. This is interesting. Look at this. Wow. Very beautiful. Fantastic. Very talented. Merci, monsieur. So you gotta respect that. That guy's not selling tat, he's actually selling things that he's made. I like that. If you want to buy some souvenirs, buy it from people that make it, not the things that are being shipped in from China. Because half of these things, the berets, would have come straight from China. Here we go. These trays are now cheaper down here. Remember, they were €12 at the top. Now these trays are 3 for 10. Yeah, 4 for 10 in fact. One tray is €3. Yes, they're actually quite nice. Maybe I should gift these to someone. Being pushed aside by a Palestinian there. So, okay. A small cut there, but I actually bought myself a souvenir. Something I rarely do. I only ever really buy postcards for the members of the postcard club, but souvenirs I rarely buy. But this time I bought myself a 50 cent.
Go, 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 go.
Or is it? There we go. 50 cent key ring. Everyone needs one of those for 50 cents. Yeah, I've had a few in the past. They tend to break pretty quickly, but I kind of like them. I keep the keys in order, and for 50 cents, I can't really complain. But let's cross over here without getting run over, head into the nice streets of Anvers is where we are. This is Anvers Station. Let's have a look. Anvers. Selling caramel chocolates, nougat over here. And we're going to walk this way. Someone almost getting run over by a bicycle just there. The worst thing about carrying this camera is probably one of the reasons I don't actually look at the lens too much, which is slightly detrimental to my channel, I'm sure, is the fact that I'm always having to look where I'm going, so not always getting everything. But now we're just walking through this quiet little playground. We've got a basketball court to our right, kids' playground here to the left. Basketball court, nobody's playing today. I was asked the other day by an American if basketball was very popular in Europe, and I said, well, it is, but it's not that popular. We play it in the playgrounds. Some people have courts next to their houses, but other than the Latvians and the Who else? I'm trying to think. Serbians, maybe. They're the guys that take it super seriously in Europe. The UK and France, well actually right now the French have got a pretty much superstar in the NBA. But, you know, ask the average person if anyone knows his name. Answers below if you know his name. He's a bit of a superstar right now, and he's French. But let's continue this way, skip out of the park, and this is where it starts feeling French again. Well, it always was feeling French, but we have these nice, beautiful cafes. Cafes with shades. This is my favorite. The smell of baguettes, the smell of croissants, the smell of just wine. It's really nice. I'm starting to get hungry as it's lunchtime. This is a really nice part of Paris, I think. And it's a real culture shock compared to Chateau Rouge, where you may have seen from an earlier video we were. Chateau Rouge is not far, it's a stone's throw from here. It's a complete change. That's how Paris changes dramatically. You have these enclaves of different mixes. Chateau Rouge was much an African mix. Here we've got splattering of tourists, but predominantly many French natives that live in this little area at the bottom of Montmartre. So we're just going to walk in the direction of the Moulin Rouge, and I think we're going to stay in this shaded part, which is just one street down from the street that the Moulin Rouge is on. You have to forgive me, I'm not Parisian, so I can't remember the names of these streets, but we are currently on the Anvers, and this is the Avenue Trudan. And you can see what the signs are by looking up here. You see the sign there, that tells you where we are, next to the park. And then we have Australians walking past us. But a really, really beautiful day. As we cut back in a moment, you'll see the contrast between the shaded side streets and the main road, which suddenly everything becomes a little more gritty. As I was saying about the postcard club, I'm thankful for many people that have joined. You expect random postcards from random destinations just like this. So who knows who's getting a postcard from Paris this time.
You didn't get the postcard?
I've just walked down the main street in the direction of the Moulin Rouge, and I'm starting to feel a little bit hungry. Now, there are options in Paris that aren't as expensive as you would think. Paris is an extremely expensive city. However, avoid these places, avoid the KFC, avoid the McDonald's, which is over here. What I would recommend if you were looking for a quick snack is a place like this. This place, a selection of drinks. You can get wine, Coke's their own wine, 25 millilitres for €2.40, or 50 millilitres for €4.80. Sandwiches are around about €4.50 to €6 a sandwich. And you can also get sort of classic things like ravioli, €10, salad, sausage. We're just going to have a look inside, I'd say. A little bit of a queue, but let's go and have a look in.
Well, this is the remarkable bouillon service Pigalle. It's a modern twist on the Parisian classic. While its neighbour, the Bouillon Pigalle, offers a full sit-down experience, this spot caters for those on the go. It is essentially a takeaway version of the iconic bouillon, serving us up with freshly made baguettes and traditional dishes at fair and affordable prices. Inside, it's all about efficiency and simplicity. The menu sticks to the essentials. Think French classics like quiche, pâté, and hearty stews, perfectly packaged for a quick meal without sacrificing quality. And what I chose to go for are the baguettes. These are wonderful, fresh, crusty, and filled with flavorful ingredients. You could close your eyes, pick one, and you're not going to have a bad time. This bouillon service brings the spirit of bouillon to those short on time but still wanting authentic taste of Paris. It's affordable, it's delicious, and it's convenient.
I'd like to go for the Paris Beurre. So you got cheese, ham, baguettes. I think it's €6. Should I get one of these wine things? Maybe. Maybe a bit of a Coke's for $2.40. I think why not? I mean, you can't really complain. €8.40 for a sandwich, basically ham and cheese baguettes. Small serving of Coke's wine, which there's no real nice places here by the metro station, but if I walk a little bit further, there's a nice shaded area, and that's where I intend to. This camera keeps losing me. It's supposed to have face tracking, but it seems anytime I tilt it a little slightly away from me, it loses where I am. Yes, let's head past this cigarette magazine place that dots Paris around. We're gonna have a poked around. I was hoping there'd be benches. No, it seems everyone's sitting on the footpaths. If you want to sit down, you have to sit on the edge of the pavement. Come on, Macron. Come on, Paris. Why are there no benches in this area? Is it to stop people loitering? Oh, there's a couple of benches over here, but they're full. Looks like I'm going to be sitting on bike racks. I think that's a real shame. Oh no, there's one gentleman over here. I can sit next to him. Let's sit down over here with the backdrop of the Pussy Club right behind me. Check this out. How's that for a backdrop? It's a sleazy area.
I don't think we're being, I don't want to say sleazy, because that's not the right word, but a little irresponsible.
Let me just show you the wine I got before I tuck into this. You don't want to see me eating the sandwich, but that's how the wine comes. That's a pretty decent serving of wine for about, what was it, 2.5 euros so, for €8.20 for all of that. With the baguettes. Not bad, anyway. I won't eat it on camera, but fantastic. Well, I probably got bread stuck in my teeth and stained red lips from the Côtes du Rhône wine, but for some reason there is something blocking the traffic up here, but it doesn't matter because we're walking in the direction of the Moulin Rouge. If you were here at night time, this is a very, very different area. All around us there's like sort of sleazy sort of clubs. There's a place over here that I gave you. There's this place called Cruising. I can only imagine what goes on there.
Was you on a cruise ship or something?
Walking past various sex shops. It's definitely a sleaze. Who the hell watches DVDs anymore? But there's still a market for it, but a load of dildos. It's a club up here called the Pussy Club. €20 pussies apparently in there. €20 you can get pussy. Is it the type that meows? I'm not sure. Who really knows?
We got white pussy, black pussy, Spanish pussy, yellow pussy, we got hot pussy, cold pussy, we got...
Honestly, we've got the magnets that have probably been here for the last 20 years. I'm not sure who's buying these magnets. Is this a cover? Is this a front for something? Why would you have those magnets out there? You have Pink Fizz. That's obviously a slightly sleazy bar. But at the moment we got the roads cordoned off. Something's clearly happening in this little area. I don't know if someone's important coming through, but it's actually kind of nice the fact that the road is closed and I've only got to contend with cyclists. But as you can see, we've got sex shops over here, toys, video, palace. I mean, at night time, honestly, this area is very questionable at night time. Anyone that's been here, you'll know exactly what I mean. Here we have, it's boarded up at the moment, but I'm pretty sure it functions at night time. Live table dance show. This is all around the Moulin Rouge. Remember the Ewan McGregor, Nicole Kidman film?
We were off to the Moulin Rouge, and I was to perform my poetry for Satie.
Well, it's based on a real place. This is that. Ladies of the Night.
And he came to France where the ladies can dance to the Moulin Rouge where our story starts for you.
Epicerie night shop. We just got up in front of us. All these stickers. Look at this. Look at all these stickers. Oh, we've lost tracking again. Come back, camera. There we go. We lost tracking. All these stickers, possibly advertising. Who really knows what it's advertising? Just people like to put out stickers. We'll head back over this way. Slowly get to where this video has intentions of being. Obviously, if you want to book tickets to the Moulin Rouge, I'm actually an advocate of it. Look at this. This is some gym. V-Punch Gym. Test your might outside. Club de Boxe. There's a fighting ring in the middle. It's a pretty decent gym, I'd say. What was I saying? If you want to book tickets to the Moulin Rouge, it's not the only cabaret show in town. There's many others. I get the impression there's some coppers here. Something's definitely going on. They're telling people to get the hell out of the way. Who knows? Watch this space. Something's about to happen, maybe. They're clearing the road for something. He's being told to move. So get out of here. Something's happening. I wish I knew what was going on. I don't think it's important. It's probably Macron probably needing to come by. Macron needing his gay massage or something. Something I'm told is quite a common thing. Now look at this. Bondage gear. Focus down. It's a cup of tea. The BU Hotel. You can only imagine what that means, the BU Hotel. You can only imagine.
I mean, it takes courage just to be you.
Is it by the hour? Is it by anything else? And then, oh, paying homage to The Simpsons. Apu Market. Shame he's not there. I did come again. You're not here, Apu. Supermarché Erotica. Not just any old supermarché, but an erotica marché. Make sure that your girlfriend or better half has something like that. And then obviously we're getting very close to where we want to be. We are getting towards the next crossroad. Oh, there we go. I just met someone. I was out for completely random. I was like, I wonder why they're closing the street. They closed the street because there's an Olympic flame. You see that? I had no idea. Really bizarre. I had no idea that was the reason, but that's quite funny. It's the Paralympic flame, obviously, coming through. Today's the Paralympic start in Paris. Gives you an idea of when this video was done. You're probably wondering why did I cut off there? Two Americans I'd met earlier. Went and said hello to them. Then while I was talking to them, basically outside the Moulin Rouge, which is just here, something that's been in existence in 1889, suddenly the random Olympic torch passed them by. I mean, that's kind of random. And I had no idea. No wonder it's like, why are they shutting down the streets? Why are the police with guns here? And now it all makes sense. I had no idea that was happening. Got to be informed on these things. Some people make pilgrimages to make sure they're in the right place at the right time. Just happen to be here. Why not? So, we're going to get past the cheesy music and we're going to finish our little extravaganza at the place that obviously inspired one of the greatest musicals. I'm not a fan of musicals, but it definitely inspired one. Moulin Rouge. And it's a very famous cabaret club. I have taken ex-girlfriend there once before. And you know what? It was an enjoyable show. You basically get to see can-can dancers lifting their legs up very high. The girls are very beautiful. You pay a ridiculous amount of money for half a bottle of champagne. So if there's two of you, you basically get a ticket with a champagne bottle. You generally sit on tables with two other people if it's just two of you. There are tables, basically tables of four. They cram you in. There's two showings. I think there's one at 9, there's one at 11. If you'd like tickets, I actually do recommend trying it at least once. You're probably going to be spending, because it's always the bloke that pays. If the bloke pays, you're going to be spending $250 for 2 tickets, 50 euros. But it's worth it. And the thing is, you need to book in advance because if you're thinking of turning up for the day, you're not going to get a ticket. So police are like telling us to move on. They say these are the traffic cops of Paris. Say move on now, please. Taxi drivers want to get past. Taxi drivers a little bit excited. They're saying, look, we waited long enough. They didn't see the Olympic flame, I'm sure. They're probably thinking, why are we being held up? But anyway, if you like this content and you want to see more of this content, check out these other videos. Somewhere over here, maybe. And I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, keep progressing. Thank you.